Holocaust victims to be buried after remains given to museum. A funeral is to be held today for 6 unknown Auschwitz victims whose remains were donated to a British museum more than 20 years ago. Hundreds are expected to attend the service at Breaking News Cemetery, Hertfordshire, in the first service of its kind in the UK. The remains of 5 adults and at least 1 child were anonymously donated to the Imperial War Museum in 1997. The identities of the victims will never be known. 6 million Jews were murdered in Nazi death camps during World War II, starved and gassed, and their remains incinerated. More than 1 million people were killed at the Auschwitz camp in occupied Poland. The remains were among a large number of objects relating to the Holocaust given to the museum by a donor. The human remains were unexpectedly among them. They are understood to have been taken by the donor during a visit to the former death camp several decades ago. The museum has a license to hold such items and the remains have been kept in storage for 2 decades. Leader of the Holocaust Galleries at the IWM, James Baljan, said, "The museum receives thousands of objects, but something like this is unusual to the point of complete uniqueness. Hundreds of thousands of people were killed at Auschwitz-Birkenau. Anybody who lost a relative there can consider these remains and think they could belong to my grandfather or mother." Mr. Baljan described the process of discovering details about the remains as difficult, adding, "These remains are fragments and also ash and some of that can't be analyzed further." Through highly specialized forensic analysis, the museum was able to find out that the fragments were the human remains of adults and children. But the process is limited. Their ages, gender or other personal details are impossible to learn. The museum worked closely with Jewish religious leaders, and Mr. Baljan said the process of deciding what to do with the remains had been very moving. The UK's Chief Rabbi Ephraim Mervis said the service's symbolism was enormous. "We find exceptional poignancy in the fact that there are 6 souls that we are burying," he said. "Each one stands for 1 million souls who perished. And interestingly enough, there were just under 5 million who were adults and just over 1 million who were children." He will be leading the prayers on Sunday and said it would be one of the most difficult addresses he has ever given. "There were members of my family who perished in the Holocaust and we all related to this directly," Rabbi Mervis said. "Now we will have the opportunity to accord them some dignity and to give them a final resting place." He said he hoped the site would become a place of pilgrimage for Jewish families, much like the tomb of the unknown soldier. But he also reflected on the memorial's timeliness for wider society, adding, "We need a strong reminder such as this to let us know what can result, even within a democratic society, what can result if anti-Semitism, if racism and xenophobia, go unchecked." The Prince of Wales, who is patron of the Holocaust Memorial Day Trust, has sent a letter of condolence to the Jewish community.